Hi everybody, this is Ellen. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make the Happy Beet, or Happy Beetroot, however you want to look at it. I really like how it turned out. I tried to make it kind of similar to actually how they look themselves. A lot of the pictures that I've seen, or just even in the supermarket, they always end up having little cut off pieces from the leaves. Their leaves are kind of triangle with some red down the middle, or the kind of purpley color, red color. It's kind of like a blood red color, but there isn't quite the bands that actually match that I have besides the fuchsia, so I'm going to use those. And then the leaves themselves we make kind of in a dragon scale type thing, pattern on the loom. And I'll make all three of them at the same time. You don't have to. You can make them individually and kind of rewatch parts, or make them all the same with me. In total, this guy is kind of band heavy, with around 440 total, but the leaves themselves are, there's like 132 green up in the leaves, and then all of the fuchsia that we use is right around 305 bands. So you can reduce some of this by maybe having a few having less leaves. I made 3, but maybe you can make 2, or you could just kind of cut off all the leaves and just use the little spikes on them. So that's kind of an option that you can use as well. It is a little bigger than my radish, my happy radish that I have, because that's what they are in real life. So they'll have a few more bands, of course, to do them. So, but we'll get started. First I'll explain the eyes and the cheeks, like usual. You can use beads or bands for the eyes. So if you want to do a wrapped band for the eyes, you take a band, whatever color you want for the eye, put it on your hook, wrap it around once, grab both bands, wrap it around again, and then the color of your beet, you take 2 bands and pull them through. And then you have a wrapped eye band for the eyes. And you'll need 2 of those. And then if you want to do beads for the eyes, I use 7mm pony beads. You'll want to find a piece of wire or string, floss, anything that you can put into a little V shape. Take 2 bands, put them in the center, and then you'll put your bead on both ends, thread it down, and get it into the center of the bands. And then just pull out your tool you used. And you need 2 of those for a beaded eye band. The cheeks are made the same way as the eye bands for the wrapped band eyes. It's 1 band, whatever color you want your cheek to be, on the hook, wrap it around once, grab both sides, wrap it around again, and then 2 bands pulled through in the center. So 2 of those as well. So then, start with, if you want the little cut off stems, all I did was do a single band doubled in a chain. I'm going to use 3 of them for my tutorial, so I already made a couple of them. My lengths that I made for these, I made one that was 10 long, one that was 9 long, and then I'm going to make one that's 8 long. So I'll show you how to do that, and then if you want to pause to make those, that would be good. So you just take 1 band, put it on your hook, and I'm using my rug latch hook, but you can use the rainbow loom hook. Put it on your hook, wrap it around once, grab both sides, wrap it around again, and then take another band, put it on the end of your hook, double it, and then pull your other band over it, and put both ends of your bands back on the hook, and then slide it down. So then I'm going to make this one, like I said, it'll be 8 long, so 1 and then 2. I'm counting the cap band as 1, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I have the 3 stems that I'm going to use for this. I do place 6, so there's 3 little short stem ones and then 3 leaves on here, so however you want to make this, if you just want 6 of these, or if you just want to put 3 on there, you can kind of judge that once we start doing the top of this. So I have those done. If you want to stop the video for a minute and make yours, that would be good. But then next we're going to make the leaves of the beet. And I'm going to take the loom, and you don't have to do this, but I'm just going to take my loom and line up the pin bars just so kind of everything is even. And I would recommend using your hook thing to undo this, but I'm not the most gentle at times, so like that. So that way when I put this stuff on here, you'll be able to see better exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to explain the first row where I put the bands and do that very well, and then I'm going to kind of go quickly through the back 2 rows just so I can have all 3 leaves done at the same time. So we're going to start, and the first one we're going to you're going to want to come to like the middle of the loom, as much to the middle as you can, because we do spread out as we go to about 9 wide. So just kind of start in the middle here, take a green band, double wrap it, and cross it on these pins. And take another band and just lay it right over the top. And then if you're going to make all 3 of them with me, you do the same thing on the pin bars behind. Like that. Then you're just going to go and, actually I'm going to turn this around, sorry, because it'll be easier for me because I'm right-handed. Same thing, didn't change anything, we're good. So I'm just going to go in here and grab the bottom doubled band and pull it up and over. It just kind of ends up sitting in the middle here. I'll do the same thing with the next one. Push these down. Our next row we're going to increase. So 1 band to the left, and we're going to cross it. Then regular, and then cross. And I'm going to do that same thing on the other ones. I'm probably just going to not say the color until I get to where I'm switching and adding in a little bit of the fuchsia bands for the color effect. And I don't know why I crossed that one. So what you're going to do is you'll come and you'll flip over the bottom band over the top on every one, if you're doing them all with me. Push them down. Now this row, green, right over the top on the left. Now we'll add in a little bit of the fuchsia right in the middle, and then green again on the end. And I'll repeat for the other 2 rows. So now, when we flip over, I usually flip over the middle first and then flip over the end, because if I flip over the end first, this just kind of usually starts loosening up this part right here, and I can't really tell, or it gets kind of congested, or I can't really see which bands I want to flip over. But it's the bottom 2 bands. And then the 1 band on the end. And I'll do that same thing on the other ones. I start in the middle, bottom two bands, ends. And you push them down. Next row we're going to increase again. So to the left we'll start green band, cross, and another green band, regular. Then we'll do a fuchsia band, then a green band, and then a green band crossed. So we just made it a little bit bigger by 2. Then repeat for the other rows, cross that band, green, fuchsia, green, cross. Like so. So now when we flip the bands over, I want to start kind of in the middle bands first. So the bottom 2, right here. Then over here on the sides, it's just going to be the bottom band. And then we don't flip anything over here. Bottom, bottom 2, and bottom. Push them down again. Alright, and then our next row is going to go right over the top. So green, green, fuchsia, green, green. And repeat for the other rows. Green, green, fuchsia in the center, green, and green. I know I might be going a little fast with the laying of the bands here, but once I get done with the row you can always pause and then you should be able to see the colors that I did. Alright, so now we go again. I'm going to start in the middle, flip over the bottom 2, and the next pins out we'll have 2, and then on the ends you'll have 1. And then repeat for the other ones. It's not super horrible if you miss a band, because you could just tie it back in, or just kind of adds to the frilly, flowery effect that they have. And push that down again. And we're going to increase again. So on either side we're going to add another cross band. So cross and green. Then green. I'm going to kind of spread out the fuchsia a little bit more. So fuchsia. Do green in the middle. Another fuchsia. Green. And another green cross band. And I'll repeat that for the other rows. So green, green, fuchsia, across my band, green, fuchsia, green, and cross green, green, fuchsia, green, fuchsia, green, and cross green. So again, start in the middle, be the 2 bands, and 2 bands next to those, and then 1 band on the side. And we'll repeat that. Like so. And then push those down. Next row is going to go right on top. So green, 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 fuchsia, and then green, green, green. I know I said I wasn't going to do the color, but I just started getting into it, so now we're going to. So 3 greens, and then a fuchsia. And then 3 more greens. And last row back here. Like that. And again, flip over the middle 2, and 2 more, and there'll be 2 over here, 2 next to those, and then just 1 on the end. And repeat that. So it's 2 on every one except for on the ends, it's just the 1. And push those down. Make sure you loop them all. Then we're going to expand another row. So green, crossed, and these will be the last 2 rows that we do. There'll be another green, green, fuchsia, green, fuchsia, green, green, and a crossed green. So then repeat that for the next rows. Crossed green, 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 fuchsia, green, fuchsia, green, green, and a crossed green. The coloring on the inside is kind of just my preference. It doesn't necessarily have to be exact either. So once you have that, we'll flip over the middle ones. Bottom 2, next ones out have 2, next ones out have 2, and then we'll have 1 on the end. And just repeat that. Kind of all over the place with my hooking, but as long as they all get done. And 1 more row. Push everything down. So last row, right on top of the last one. We'll do green until we get to the center. And here's our fuchsia, and then green to the end. Like that. And then again, there'll be 2 in all the center ones, except for the end one will have 1 to flip over. Or 2, sorry. They'll all be 2. Except for the very last one is 1. I pointed to the wrong one before. We can do that for the other ones. I forgot one. All right. Guess I'm rushing too fast through that last row. So now we're going to close this. What we're going to do is take this single band on this end and just flip it over to that last pin. Go in through that single band and grab the bottom 2 bands and pull them towards the next pin. Then go through there again, grab those 2 bottom bands, pull them towards the next pin, go in through again, pull them towards that middle band. And then one more time, pull them towards the middle. I'll do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to pull the single band off, put it on there, go in through, grab those 2 bottom bands, pull them towards this pin, and then go in again, grab the 2 bottom bands, pull them towards the pin, get your hook out of there, and then grab the next 2 bottom bands and pull them towards, or no, I had more than 2. Pull them to where the other ones met up. So then what we're going to do is just grab this bottom band and flip it over. And if you'll notice, this isn't quite centered. It's just kind of the way the loom works out. So we have 3 pins on one side and then 4 pins on the other. It's not a big deal. So just thought I'd point that out so you don't go, when she kept saying center, this is about as center as you're going to get for these. So, and I think it looks fine on the leaf. So I want to repeat that for the other ones. I'm probably going to fast forward through them while I do that, but just that center band, go in through, grab those 2 bottom bands. Next pin, I just keep going towards the center-ish. Okay, so now we have the leaves done. I'm just going to kind of pop off some of these on the end. Just don't pop off the center yet. Alright, so what we're going to do is we need to make the little stems that go on these. And how we're going to do that. So I'm going to use fuchsia again. I'm going to take my hook, take off everything except for the center on one of the leaves, go in through that center that's open, and put it on my hook. You can see it's kind of a diamondy tall leaf. So once you've done that and got on your hook, you're going to double up some bands and pull them through into basically some of these. You can make them as long as you want. I'm going to make mine varying again, so I'll do one with 10, one with 9, and one with 8. But I'll just go through one with you, and then I'll fast forward through me doing the other ones. So you grab the fuchsia band is what I used for these. Put on my hook, wrap it around once, and then pull it through. And take another one. And just do that till I have my 10 for this one. So there's 10 for that one. And I'm just going to put it on my loom towards the non-red arrow side, or the red arrow side, sorry. And I'm going to repeat that for the other ones, and like I said, I'm going to fast forward through it, and then we'll start with the actual beet itself. So, sorry it took so long to make the leaves, but I just kind of liked how they looked, and would have taken just as much time probably to make them a different way, but I think the shape is kind of right on for the beet leaf, so. But I'll get these other ones done here real quickly. Alright, so that's all my leaves. Put that back on the loom. Now I'm going to put my loom back into the correct configuration for the figures, which is just the regular setup with the lower pin bar down one. I know a lot of people have been saying that some of my designs lately have been, they've been having trouble with like the pins getting close together and the base plates popping off. It's not necessarily my designs. It's, I mean, that's part of it because it is, some of them do have some pretty good tension on them. A lot of it is just that over time, with removing the base plates and, you know, maybe not doing them correctly, like I just kind of have been doing. Not using enough base plates. Like in my tutorials, I only use the 2, so you can kind of see what I'm doing more. All those play a factor in the base plates themselves loosening up, and so that they don't have that tight fit like they did when you first pulled them out the box and you were, you know, took a little bit to get them off of the pin bars. The only suggestion that I really have for that is, obviously you can buy new base plates for the looms. I don't think they're that expensive. They're not sold at rainbowloom.com, but they are sold online on like Amazon. Otherwise, my other suggestion would be to take a regular rubber band and to wrap it around, like kind of weave it in between here, and wrap it around tightly around your base plate and between your pin bars, so that it'll help to secure your base plate to your pin bars. May or may not work, but it'll certainly couldn't hurt anything to help keep those secure. So, little side note, sorry, I know this video is long enough, I need to quit talking. So we'll get started with the actual beet itself. The rest of it is fuchsia, so, and what we're going to do is drop bands for our top. First one, I'm going to start up a little ways, actually kind of up here in the middle. I would recommend you do that as well. So I'm starting up about 4 pins, 4 bands right there, and it'll be 6 bands on these 2 pins. And 4 on the next 2 pins. And then 6 again. And then 4. And then 6 again. If you miss a couple, you'll just have to pull them up later. It's not a huge deal. And then we'll come back towards the center with 4. So like that. Now we're going to add in my chicken feet. So from these middle 2 pins, we're going to go out 3. So 2 bands. And not drop one. Got enough pins down there, enough bands down there. Try that again. Like so. And the same thing down here. Like that. Then on this pin up here, 2 bands for an end cap, probably 3 times around. If you have really stretchy, probably 4. So what we're going to do is loom out these 3 bands through the cap band we just placed on. Like that. And now, here's where it gets a little tricky because these are going to be in our way for part of the rest of the design. These are where we need to put our leaves and little broken stems on if you are doing them. So there'll be 3 on this side and 3 on this side, so that's why I made 3 leaves and 3 stems. Doesn't matter necessarily the order you put them in. I'm going to put a stem here in the front, so I'm going to pick up the top band only, and I'm going to slide down a stem band. And I'll replace this back onto the pin. So that's 1, Maybe we'll put another stem here in the back. So this will be 2. Put that back on the pin. And my last one will be a leaf. So I'll go down here where I stored them. Pick up the top 2 bands on this 3rd pin here and pull that down and replace that back on the pin. So I will do my best to keep this out of your way. So now, if you can stretch your end cap down here and do the other end right now, but I'm going to wait, and we're just going to loom out this other end first. So we're going to go in through this band right here, reach up to the top pin, grab the top 2 bands, pull them through, and put them back on this pin. Go back through the same spot, grab 2 bands off the right pin on the top, and pull those back towards themselves. Same spot, 2 bands off of the left pin, pull them through, onto the pin. Like so. So now, turn your loom, and we're going to do the exact same thing out of this spot that we did up here. So first I'm going to kind of pull this out of the way. Go in through here, I'm going to grab 2 bands from the left pin, pull it back, 2 bands from the right pin, pull it back, and then this last one, we're going to grab the top 2 bands, go in through here like you're going to loop it, grab it, pull it up, both ends on the hook, and then flip this little circle on the other side, and what's on your hook is going to go onto the pin. So if you've been doing my Happy Foods, you know what we're doing right here. Just kind of got stuff in the way more this time than usual. So then turn your loom around and we'll do the other side the same way. Pull this out of the way. Go in through here, and then from the left pin I'll grab 2 bands close to the top. And back through the same spot, 2 bands from the right pin. And then 2 bands from the middle. Pull them up like I'm going to loop them, both ends on the hook, and over. So now, what we're going to do is these 5 pins right here, we're going to puff them out so it'll give us a little more stretch to get to the other end. So, starting at this pin right here, I'm going to grab these last 2 bands that are on the pin, go in through here, hook that band like I'm going to loop it, pull it up, both ends on my hook, and then put that on the pin. And then the same thing with the corner bands. Go in through there, grab it like I'm going to loop it, pull it up, both ends on the hook, take these off the pin, and replace with what's on your hook. For some of these, if the pins are in your way, you can just wrap it around the pin next to it, pull it up, loop it, get it on your hook, and then put it on the right pin. But we're just doing the 5 that I showed. So like that. So these 5 up here, you shouldn't have any bands underneath anymore. So now we are ready to move our cap band down to this pin and repeat that on what we did up here on this side. So if you take this little spot right here and flip it to the other side of this pin, that helps with relieving some of the tension as you pull this middle cap band or end cap band down. Then we're going to loom out our chicken feet all the way around both bands. And before we go any further, we're going to put on our bands onto the top, or our stem bands and things on the top. So I'm going to grab a leaf first, and since I have a stem right here, the one next to it, I'm going to put a leaf. So I grabbed just the top band, slid it on, and then replace that on the pin. And my other leaf is going to go on the back side here. So just the top band. Pull it off, slide this down, back on the pin. And then my last one will be for my last stem band, which is the top. Take the top band, pull it up, and slide this down. So now all my stems and leaves are on here, and I usually kind of end up doing this anyways because I don't want the leaves to stand up straighter, but I'm going to tie these together so I can move them around a little easier. Okay. So this end of the loom, you do the same thing. Go in through this spot right here, grab the top two bands from the pin ahead of it, pull them through, loop it over. Go back in through this spot, grab two bands from the right pin, pull them over, two bands from the left pin, pull them over, and loose them. Pull them over. And once you've done that, turn your loom. We'll do the same thing out of this spot right here. So I'm going to grab two bands from the right pin, two bands from the left pin. Looks like I'm short a band. Like that. Then go back through the same spot, two more bands, pull them up on your hook, and put those onto the pin. And we'll turn our loom and go to the other side. We're going to go through this spot now and do the same thing. So through here, grab two bands from the right pin, two bands from the left pin. Looks like I managed to short myself on two pins. Then from this one, grab the top two bands, pull them up, and put those onto the pin. Now we need to puff out, and I somehow managed to short myself one on each of these corner pins, but I'll fix that. But you're just going to grab these bands underneath, go through, pull them up like you're going to loop, and then put them back onto the pin. Do the same thing on the other side. I would short myself on the pins that have tons of bands on them. Like that. last one. Voila! I'm going to release some tension, move this down a little bit, take my cap band, which is buried here in the center, it's around one of the pins. I'm going to move it into the center. Can't necessarily see it, but it's in the center. There we go. So like that. So the top is done. Not a whole lot left, thankfully. So now we're going to do 2 rows around with 2 bands, just the normal way. So I'm going to start down here, 2 bands, and just go around the beat with them. Like so. We're going to flip over the bottom 4 bands all the way around. Push them down. We're going to do another row just like what we just did. So 2 bands all the way around. Like so. And again, flip the bottom 4 all the way around. So we have 4 bands left on the pins. Now we're going to do our eye row. It's going to be 2 bands all the way around, and we're going to put our eyes right here in the middle. So 2 bands. And then we'll do the eye rows, or the eyes. We're already on the eye row. Like that, and then 2 bands around again. Like so. Then again, flip over the bottom 4. like so. And this is a growing up design, so I'm going to kind of release these from the pins so it can come up a little bit. Like so. Push your bands down. Next is our cheek row. So start with 2 bands down here. Then when we get to right where the eyes are, take our cheek bands, put those on. And then 2 bands all the way around. Like so. Then flip over the bottom 4 bands again. Okay, push your bands down again. Then right here between the cheeks we're going to add our mouth band. So using a black mouth on my hook, wrap it around once, then go in through the bands between the cheeks, pull them up, slide your mouth band down, and then replace the bands back on the pin. Like that. Then we're going to do another row around, and then we will start reducing. I don't know why I have to have so many bands laid out, but so I'm just starting here, going all the way around. Like so. Flip over the bottom 4. Okay, now we're going to reduce. We're going to reduce pretty heavily the first time. So push all your bands down, and we're going to reduce the top here and the bottom, and then the front middle and the back middle. So we'll start at the top first. I'm going to grab the top 2 bands. See where they're coming from? They're coming from my left pin, so they're going to go over to the right. And the other 2 bands will go to the left. And we'll do the other end, just so we're consistent. Grab the top 2 bands. They're coming from my right pin, so I'm going to take them over to the left, and the other ones will go to the right. Now on the back side, I'll grab the top 2 bands in the middle, pull them up. They're coming from the left, so they're going to go over to the right, and then the other ones will go over to the left. Now the front of the face, top 2 bands, mine are coming from the left, so they'll go over to the right, and the other ones will go to the left, like that. So now we'll do a row. So I'm going to start down here in the corner, just 2 bands up, and it'll be a long stretch, and 2 more bands up a little ways, stretch across the back here, and then 2 bands, long stretch, 2 bands, and now another stretch. So I'll just have a long stretch here in the middle, and then on the end kinda, and then the 4 regular. So now flipping bands. On the end, you should have a reducing band. Flip that over, and then flip over the bottom 4. The next pin over, you should have a reducing band. Flip that over, and then flip over the bottom 4. You'll have a reducing band on the next pin down. Flip that over, and then the bottom 4. And I'm going to put this on the right side of the pin here. Next pin down, you're going to have a reducing band, and then the bottom 4. Other side, it's the same way. So there'll be a reducing band here, and then the bottom 4, and then a reducing band, and the bottom 4, and a reducing band, and the bottom 4. Put this band on the right side, and on the end here you'll have a reducing band, and then the bottom 4. So now we are going to move these closer because they're too far away from each other, especially once we do the next reducing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this band to this pin, then this band to this pin, and then we'll do that on both sides. Just be careful, take your time. So just grab these, pull them up, and slide them down. Same thing with the next ones. And if you notice, I have a lot stuck on this pin, and that'll be probably my obstacle when I start doing this back side here. So we're going to do the same thing. Just move them down so they're closer together. So I'll get these first ones with the right side of the hook. And then, kind of covering stuff around, I'll just slip this on the other side of the pin. And we'll put these here. Like that. Just kind of squished it all together. Now, we're going to reduce again. Sorry. So this time we're going to reduce this pin up here, and the kitty corner pin opposite it. And then we're going to reduce this pin right here, and this pin right here. So we're getting close to the end, so just bear with me. So grab the top 2 bands, see where they're coming from. Mine are coming from this pin right here, so they're going to come over to this pin. And the bottom 2 bands will come here. And we'll go to the other corner. Top 2 bands, they're coming from the left, so I'm going to take them over to the right. And the other ones will go to the left. And again, you've got a pin that kind of might be in the way. It's up to you if you want to shove the beet over the top of the pin. I'll do it. Just be careful nothing falls off. So now we're going to reduce again some more. This pin right here in front. 2 bands on top. They're coming from this top pin, so I'm going to pull them down to the bottom pin. And then the bottom ones go to the top pin. Then this middle pin in the back, we're going to do the same thing. Top 2 bands. See where they're coming from? They're coming from down below. So I'll take them up top, and then these ones will go below. So now we're just on 4 pins. We're going to do another row. So just on the 4 pins, it's kind of a long stretch. Like that. So now, flipping over bands, there's going to be 2 reducing bands on every pin, and then the 4 bottom bands. So, reducing band, and there's another reducing band, and then the 4 bottom bands. And again on this pin back here, it'll be the reducing band, another reducing band, and then the 4 bottom bands. On the front side, we'll have 2 reducing bands. Here's the other ones, and then the bottom 4. More reducing bands. And the bottom 4. And kind of get these extra bands off the pins here. So I'm going to move these closer one more time, not by much, just going to move this pin up here, move it down 1, and then in the back here I'm just going to move it up a pin. So now we're on 4 pins right by each other with the little beet in the center. It's looking good. So we're going to reduce one final time. So I'm going to take the front 2 bands here and the back 2 bands kitty corner and reduce these. So top 2 bands, they're coming from the back, so they're going to come to the front, and these bands will go to the back. And then back corner, top 2 bands, and they are coming from, I'm not sure. They're coming from the front. Coming from the front, so they're going to the back. I pulled them a little too far, so I can't kind of shove them back in to see again. And the other ones go to the front. So now we're just on 2 pins. We're going to take 2 bands, go around one side, and then come around the other side. I'm going to push these down because there's a lot of bands on the pin. With 2 bands, just kind of wrap it around. And then on the other side, like so. And then we're going to want to flip over everything but the top 4. So there's going to be 2 sets of reducing bands and then 4 pins underneath. Or 4 bands underneath, sorry. So there's the reducing bands and then my 4 bands underneath. Reducing bands. Other reducing bands. And the 4 bands underneath. So when you pull it up, it should feel pretty free right now. So now we're going to flip over the bottom bands that are on the pins. Take them, flip them up. Now take your hook, go in through the 2 bands that are left on the pins, grab 2 bands and pull them through, both ends on the hook, and make a slip knot. So there we have a Happy Beet. I think it turned out great. I hope you do too, because I already have a feeling that this tutorial is very long, and I apologize for that. I know some of the die-hard, gonna do every single happy food will watch this, and I appreciate that very much. I will try to not have all of them be quite so long, but I just enjoy making anything and then kind of making them feel like they're kind of real as well, with the leaves or the little stems, or just the, you know, sometimes the extras are what I think the leaves took almost it took a long time to make by themselves. So, and then I'll show you what it looks like when you take off the bands here that I have capturing it. They do not support themselves, unfortunately, but we would have had to use much more bands for that to occur. So they kind of, when I first saw that they didn't, I was kind of disappointed, but I was like, well, they've been picked, they're in the sun, they're wilting a little, but they're still happy, so that's all that matters. But if you just take a band and wrap them right underneath the leaves, normally I used a red one on this one so you can't see it as well, or you could just take a slip knot and pull them through kind of the bottom of the leaves. They're still cute either way. But I want to thank you very much for watching, especially when they're the longer tutorials like this. I definitely appreciate it. If you make one of these, I would love to see them, because I have a feeling that with as long as these might take, and they're a little futzy with all the things we do to them, that I might not see too many, so I'd love to see them. You can share them with me on my Facebook or on my Instagram, which is at Crafting Fantastic. You can hashtag them to feelinspiffy happy food, so I could take a look at them there, or other people can as well. And then, if you'd like to know when I have more of these awesome tutorials coming out, you can subscribe to my channel, Feelinspiffy, so that you are in the know of when they're coming. I still, like I mentioned in another tutorial, which I don't know if it's coming out before this or after this, I don't have a specific date in mind yet of when to put out tutorials, because I don't want to promise a day, and because of family obligations, which always come first with me. My family is very important to me. I don't want to disappoint everyone else who, well, might not understand that, or, you know, if I say I'm going to do something, I do it. So I don't have a set day in mind yet, but I'm really trying to get them out as often and as quickly as I can, because I think they're fun, and I like seeing how excited everybody is over them. It's really, really fantastic, and it makes me happy, and that matters a lot. So But thank you for watching. I will definitely have more tutorials for you soon.